All right.
Calvin T. Mann, leading Emmy, served over 20,000 youth through speaking, coaching, and mentoring. He has inspired us for years. Welcome to Emmy TV Podcast with your host, Calvin T. Mann, the Encourager.
Woohoo! And good afternoon to the Put Your Family First podcast, live here on Podcastic Super Network, where the podcast can podcast. Right, this is Emmy TV. We come to you with messages about the family, endearing, and today we want to know how you feel after the Lions loss. We've already got a caller in the hawk, so let's start off with the caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Hello, my brother, Leslie Andrews.
Hey, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic.
Good. So how are you feeling after that horrific loss?
Well, let me say this. I'm coming to you live from San Jose, California. I attended the game.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I saw
was in
your
the
pictures.
Stand.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was in the stand. But I also understand what I was watching. So actually, I feel encouraged today.
That's awesome.
I feel encouraged today. I think today is really a teachable moment for everybody to understand what it takes to be a winner and to build a winner. Mm-hmm. And how you manage your emotions and your thoughts around the journey to winning. I've waited 49 years for the Lions to do just what they did yesterday. And no matter what the outcome was,
right,
I wasn't married to the outcome. I was reveling in the journey.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So no matter what I got yesterday, I wasn't going to be disappointed. Now, immediately after it happened, when I have to watch the trophy awards and the fireworks and the somewhat rude San Francisco fans, but I ain't mad because we probably would have been rude in Ford Field too.
Right.
But you know, I'm a big girl and I'm Detroit made, so I'm gonna take it on the chin. I'm not gonna change my clothes just because I didn't win.
Right.
But I will say this: if we're going to ascend to a place where we want to be in the discussion with all the other great cities in this country, then we got to understand what it takes to be both an excellent winner but an even better loser. So I'm not going to change colors on Dan Campbell because if we win as a team, then we lose
as a team. I agree.
And that's just it.
Right.
There were drop passes, interceptions, fumbles, missed assignments, misplays, missed officiating. It wasn't just about going to get the point.
Hey, listen. Everybody, and that's the thing. The great thing about sports is we all have an opinion. It's not that we are willing to change, ready to fire the coach, right? We always see flaws in coaches and championships. I remember when Chuck Daly, I was telling the story, I was watching Portland with Scottie Pippen was beating Los Angeles, and they were up. And they were on a fast break. Steve Smith then stole the ball. They on the tear. They up by 25, 26 points. They about to put the nail in the coffin. And I'm watching the game, and Dunleavy calls time out while they were on a fast break. And his whole team turned and asked him why. And Phil Jackson got off the bench down 26 and say, we got him. And they went on and knocked them straight off. And my only thing that I've said with this guy is momentum. He has handed teams momentum when they didn't need it. And that is my only gripe.
But what I find interesting is lest we forget that he is learning to be a champion too.
Yes.
It's not just the players on the field who are learning.
That's right.
Everyone is, it's not that you're learning how to be a coach. The same way if you have a job, they've already decided that you have the skill set to be a manager. But you still have to learn how to lead that group of people you manage.
That's right.
We're always learning. So Dan Campbell is also learning. And guess what? You can't roll with him when he gets you there. Like he did the same thing when the Rams game and it worked out. And then you want to fire him because he does it in this other way. No. I'm talking about the people when I'm leaving the station. I'm leaving Levi Stadium.
And they talking about fire
for his head.
Wow.
You know, we gotta. He's too big of a gambler, and we have to do this. And I'm walking and shaking my head because I had to remind myself, Leslie, Leslie, mind your mouth. 'Cause you know your mouth is reckless, and you know your game knowledge is literally sterling. It's proven.
Right.
So I could really dress you down, and you'll be shocked that a woman of color is dressing you down outside Levi Stadium.
Right.
So I get it all in and just turn and walk away. But I'm not going to do that.
That's right.
Because guess what? Our fans are also learning how to be fans of a team that is growing and changing and winning. We only know how to be fans of a team that have always let us down and disappointed us. So my theme for today is I'm encouraged because I'm always learning.
That's
dropping those jewels, sister. Drop them. Drop them.
That's it.
That's spot
I'm
on.
going to get on this plane, and I got Lions gear on today because I'm a bigger fan yet today than I was yesterday.
All right.
So So this is just a warning sign to pass me by. Don't poke the lion. Pass me by. Just say good game. I ain't Stephen A. Smith. I'm not. No, pass me by. and just assume that I'm wearing it because I'm a girl and I don't know football. I'd rather you do that. So please don't come over here and poke this Lion fan. Pass me by. Pass me by, because I'm sure what I got for you is not covered in your benefits. Pass me by. Pass me by. Salvage T. Man knows me. I come certified. Pass me by.
That's right. That's right. But see, that was the reason why I wanted. See, you got to have the perspective, and a lot of people, they want to argue. My man called my phone arguing. Another guy texted me. I say, hey man, y'all missed the whole point of me talking about momentum. Man, you don't know, you don't understand. You going? Hey, I'm just saying, my point. I made my point clear. I've seen it, and I've come from it. I've lost games coaching because momentum shifts, right? I've had games taken away because of bad officiating. We got Persian on the ropes, Les, in Ferndale, on the ropes. I'll never forget this as long as the worst call I've ever seen in high school, college, or pro basketball. We got him on the ropes. Game is in the wing. We getting the offensive. The shortest guy on the court is getting an offensive rebound to put it back up. He pump fakes. The guy standing behind him falls back, and the referee, Hugh Jewell, calls offensive foul and literally hands the ball game to Persian. And we have been thumping with Persian year after year. This was the year. We got 3-4 Division I ball players. We in the game. Mm-hmm. And that one call took that whole game away from us. They had to get security for Hugh Jewell after that game. The people was outside.
But isn't that life, though? Isn't that really what? This is a larger, when you look at it on the granular level, yeah, it was a football game. But on a larger level, it truly is an edict about life.
Right.
You can either assume responsibility or assign blame.
That's right.
Like the fact that Dan Campbell went to the podium and he said he doesn't regret a thing, nor should he. Because in that moment, he made a choice.
Right.
And the choice was made, but the execution was not his.
Yes.
So he didn't throw his team under the bus. He made a decision. He still stands by his decision, and he stands by his team. We as fans, either we get the big picture or we don't.
Man.
Because heartbreak is a choice. My heart's not broken.
Jared Goff. How about Jared? I fell in love with Jared Goff last night.
Absolutely.
After
his
conversation
him out on several different occasions. Like if we were friends, you wouldn't know it.
At the podium, though.
Yeah, at the podium. That's right.
At the podium, the accountability, that is such an attractive trait to a team. And if everybody can take that, because that was me hearing from him. Everybody else, I was good, but Jared Goff came and stood up for his teammates he took it. He didn't he's a hell of a ball player. He took it. And that's the type of leadership you got to have.
Yes.
You got to have
and
that.
these Facebook Fairweather fans, they have an untrained eye, so I have to issue them some grace because I know what I was looking at.
Right.
And those who know, and they have to give grace to those who are just emotionally caught up. But what you're not going to do is act like you don't understand what it means for things not to go as planned.
Right.
If you don't know that in your life, that's what happened yesterday. They didn't go as planned, but all plans work out. Mm-hmm. So, like I told everybody, talk to me today. Otherwise, I'll see you in August. Because I got to get ready for the draft, and then I got to watch the combine, and then I got to watch. Because I'm not brand new. I've already dedicated my life to this. So the decision has already been made that I am an NFL fan. And an educated one. So I got business to take care of.
Yeah. I'm waiting on the call right now. My man said he trying to get me to the Kansas City Super Bowl, the game. He said he I don't know if he going to do it now. He said maybe fall. But I'm waiting on that call right now.
I can't do it. I can't watch two teams that I have absolutely nothing in common with and really don't wish them well. I'm not like that.
I understand. I'm a Mahomes fan. I'm
not.
Yeah, I'm a Mahomes fan. I haven't bought any championship gear, no sport, until Mahomes. That's the first time I bought a hat and a shirt.
And I can't even tell you why I'm not a Mahomes fan. I think I'm just being petty. But, self-awareness is important. I own every aspect of my very dynamic and very unique personality. I just don't like it because I don't have to.
Right. That's right.
And that's absolutely okay.
It is okay.
It's more than okay.
Yeah.
Because I was telling San Francisco fans, because we were surrounded by them. I said, good game. Get it now, because this is about we're going to come back, and it's going to be twice as hard, and it's not going to matter.
That's right.
Because I'm enjoying twice as more because of the way I feel today. What I feel today is going to make the next set of victories even sweeter.
That's right.
Because I move in faith. I move in educated faith.
All right.
I'm okay with today, but watching Kansas City and San Francisco, I ain't doing it. I'm going shopping. Don't let me catch a nice little film on a flight somewhere. I might not even be in this hemisphere fooling with y'all. And it's a week before my birthday too. Y'all ain't getting ready to ruin my birthday. But that nonsense, because I take all of February, and it's a leap year, so I get an extra day. And you think I'm gonna waste it on that? Oh no, sir. No, sir. Not me. No, sir.
Leslie?
I got to run. I got a 1:30, but y'all keep doing what you're doing.
I just want to tell you safe travels, too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you already know how I feel about you and your work and Emmy, and I only wish that just know I'm always speaking your name in rooms where you are not, in the hope that you will be lifted to where you need to be.
Well, thank you. They just gave a brother that love in Washington D.C., and I'm still trying to really. I think that was the most beautiful thing I've experienced in this process, and I'm grateful for it.
I'm gonna leave you with this though. I did talk to someone who is a multimillionaire. And I said, I'm just curious as your kids are grown, whose other kids you going to sew into? If you're looking for one, I got a video, and I sent them your YouTube video.
Wow.
Because, see, I don't have any children. So I'm at this point where I have to build a legacy. One of the parts of my legacy is just to invite others to continue to build on theirs, even after they think their work is done.
Love you. Absolutely.
You can do whatever. You don't have to take my advice, but you will follow my example. You don't have to take my advice, though.
That's right.
So I got work to do too. I got EMIY work to do. I got other work to do. I got to get in. I ain't gonna tell somebody to do something that I'm not prepared to do myself.
That's right.
But even if it's just by spoken word in lieu of an actual deed, it gets done. Peace and blessings, family. I got to go.
Love you.
Love you.
Travels.
Bye-bye. And that's how you kick off a show, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
She dropped so many jewels,
Yeah.
so many pearls.
That answers your your reason in this process, right? Because what did we learn this morning? Even in failure, there are blessings. There is an intent, and that is for sure the example of what was just shared.
You know what? It made me think about. It really made me think about Little League sports. It made me think about high school sports. And when you talk about how the fans react to a win or a loss or a setback or a misstep, how people respond. And there's one thing to be a fan, a diehard fan, or a parent, or a diehard supporter, but your conduct is never excused in those spaces. There is no excuse for misconduct in those spaces, because you still have to be who you are. You still have to be that example. And how you respond, you should also have an anticipation or expectation that other responsible adults will respond in a responsible way. But there have been so much violence around Little League sports, high school sports, and it often comes from the adults, not even the kids. But we're teaching them how to be fans. We're teaching them how to be supporters with our behavior. And so as long as it's acceptable, that means it's going to continue. So we have to be mindful not to forget that we're setting an example of what team and sportsmanship looks like by how we respond to situations. And I think she really dropped some of those jewels, and it made me think about that. It made me think about all the leagues, the PAL leagues, and those types of organizations that on large mass scale are dealing with our children around sportsmanship and teamwork in sports. So we have to be mindful of that and create a culture of sportsmanship and respect around, how far do you go? How far do you go? And I think today, as people are coming down off of the high of our amazing Lions team and the character and the strength of character that they showed. They showed a little bit of what they were, although they were a bit distressed, they have every reason to be proud of how far they've gone. They have every reason to be proud that they have united our city in a way that has not been done in sports in a while. To bring us together, to be on one accord. Now let's continue on that one accord as we bring peace to the space, awareness to this space, opportunity to this space, because it's not over. And depending on how we conduct ourselves over these next few months, when we have the draft coming here, we want people to come. We want people to infuse into our economy. So we have to be mindful of how we can, conduct ourselves over the next couple of months.
Well, yeah. And to be clear, right, this is sports. And people are bought in, invested, especially since you've seen the increase of gambling. So you really got a lot of emotion, right? But I love my son. I love his take. Before the ball was ever thrown up in the air, he picked San Francisco, right? And he said the Lions is going to make an emotional decision that will cost them the game, Dad. I'm going with Frisco. And he sat at the stadium yesterday and watched it unfold and was like, got him. He knew, as good as it was, he said, and this is two-man. Two-man won a lot of championships, a lot of football championships. You know what I mean? Like, he been to 6 of them, right? So, 7. He went to, 8. I think two-man played in about 8-9 championship games through his football career, between 6 in Little League and 3 or 4 in high school. Right. And so he kind of understands, right, that, you know, it's like Jared Goff said, you can't be so into the moment, you got to be balanced. I think Jared Goff balled out yesterday. I thought as a quarterback for a team, I thought he balled out yesterday, for real, especially in that moment. You one game away from the Super Bowl, and that's another reason why people are so emotional. We won 2. Now, think about this. They hadn't won 2 playoff games in years, and that was my point. I was like, they knocking off goals. And that's how I was picking them over San Francisco. I was like, they hadn't won on the road in 9, 10. Oh, they about to knock these boys off. And when they came out the first half, they had them boys in the bag. And so it's a tale of 2 halves. In the first half, they turned it over. In the second half, you turned it over. So it's a tale of 2 halves, but it's also, right, it's also a collective process to win as one. It's a collective process. All year long, people have been yelling and screaming about the defensive coordinator. I'm like, y'all still yelling and screaming about the defensive coordinator, y'all in the championship game with the same guy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Y'all want to fight a defensive coordinator. He got 3-4 rookies on one side. He got a 2-year, second-year player on the other side. He got a rookie linebacker. He got a 2-year DN. His other DN is a rookie on the other side. He got a 2-year defensive tackle. Like, he went in the game. They going in these games with young guys. And so you have to protect them in victories. And that's another thing that falls on this coaching staff. You have to protect your young players in victory. That's all. And you know, again, you got to come back. You can't not come back. You got to make it happen now, because the expectation is there. And as he said, every team in the NFL coming for your head. You're not playing no powder puff schedule this next year, right? Next year your schedule is going to be pretty tough. So you're gonna see some things. You're gonna play some teams, and you're gonna have to come with it. But where they are ahead, if they maintain status quo, this draft will solidify the second and third level of this team, and they should be on fire for the next 3-4 years.
So I have a question about the draft. Sue, do the players go back into a pool?
What players?
Any of the players that are...
No. So the draft, baby, is the draft is all about college players.
Okay.
It's all about college players.
New talent.
Yep.
New talent.
It's all about college players.
Okay.
Drafting from the college, right? It's all about college players where they can come up, because they're gonna have to pay a serious fee for the quarterback, unless he decides to take. You know, it's not unheard of that a quarterback be like, I'll take this to be with this team and this coach. So that could possibly happen. He doesn't have to have, because he's had a bonus, a major contract when Los Angeles signed him to an extreme contract.
Who are we talking about?
Ended Goff, the quarterback.
Okay.
But Los Angeles turned it back. He took him to the Super Bowl as a rookie or a second-year player. And they ended up turning it back because they didn't invest in offensive line play. They still haven't done that. The year they won it, they had a left tackle that was old in Los Angeles, and that's how Matt Stafford was able to win the championship, right? Because that was the one piece. They didn't put Matt Stafford in his grave last year with that same team because they didn't have a line play. This year he had a little bit more help on the line.
Right, I saw that.
And so and
I'm nowhere near expert. I saw that.
Right. And so, you know, going into the draft, they look incredibly good. Brad Holmes was the executive of the year. And there's a reason why he was the executive of the year. Everybody criticized his 4 picks. All 4 of them picks was on that field last night. All 4 from this last draft. All 4 of them picked. Tight end broke records. Branch interception. You got the linebacker from Iowa, and you got Gibbs, the running back. All 4 of those players were immediate contributors to this success. Mm-hmm. That says something about Brad and the coach because they're on the same page. And so it's just, this is the losses was heavy on a lot of people because a lot of people was gambling. We realized that a lot of the emotion come from a lot of people that was gambling. You know what I mean? And that's, that's each his own.
But that's typical of a game at this caliber, right?
Yeah. We've seen some people really come up on these games. You know what I mean? Literally. I told you, J-Lo for the last 3 Super Bowls have cracked their head for millions. That's the only game she bet on is the Super Bowl. And she's cracked their heads for millions. For real. Like, you could Google that. J-Lo gets off when the Super Bowl comes, right? She picks her teams. But, again, going into the after the loss, a lot of people calling for him to be fired is not it. I just called to say he need a game manager because somebody could have easily said to him right there, you need to take these 3. Take these 3 points right here. Now, people coming up with all this.
So, speaking of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you like that. I would like to hear some of the things that you are hearing, because I know you're in all of these sports groups and all of these men's groups. So what are some of the comments that you're hearing on both sides?
Well, a lot of people were very upset. As you heard Monique say, even her husband was upset he didn't take the 3. Mm-hmm. Gronk, you saw him last night on CBS when he said, gambling paid off to get you here, but it's also the thing that cost you the game, right? Mm-hmm. And that's fine. You will learn from that, as stated. But you take that 3. I've watched championship football, and in championship football, every point counts. You don't leave it on the field. Although you've had success 4th and 2, you up 24-7. You take that 3 because that helps sustain your team. Because you got a young team, you need to protect them. You take that 3, you protect them. Now when you kick the ball off to San Francisco after taking that 3, you still have San Francisco in doubt about their own ability because they're being dominated, and they've lost 3 of the last 4 of these very games. You see? So now it's a psychological piece. Let me put my foot on their neck versus let me really try to go get this touchdown, right? And that's my only point to the decision making. You take every 3. You've done it before. So if you take those 3s, right, now you in the ball game, right? If instead of putting your team under that pressure in that position, let's take this 3 and balance it out because they had just scored. So that's just something he'll have to learn. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, want to make it, they big to do. Oh, man, you don't know what you're talking about. A lot of people want to go into that process. Oh, yeah, the team choked. Yeah, the team all of a sudden, the team choked. Why? Because I pulled the sheet off their head, right? Instead of keeping the sheet on their head, not letting them see this drama unfold because I need to protect them. So, of course, the momentum shifts. Whereas if you take that 3, momentum balance, and now they got to think about what they're doing, and that doesn't put them in a successful position. Anybody saying anything about the field goal kicker is stupid because the field goal kicker just kicked a 52-yarder for you to beat the Rams. And if you know that your third quarter is bad and has been bad, you take every point you can get in the third quarter. So that's my point. A lot of people, want to go back and forth because they're making it personal and emotional about Dan. I'm saying that he needed a manager to help him, right? They tried to give a manager to Caldwell, and Caldwell had a record 8 straight comeback victories. So then all of a sudden they say Caldwell don't know how to manage games, but this guy just suddenly knows how. Like, come on, man. It's professional. Everybody could use a little help. Go ahead.
All right. So some of the comments in the sports groups that you're seeing. So is there a variety? Is it leaning to one side or the other? Is there a variety? Who has a new perspective to bring to the table? Or what were some of the new perspectives to bring to the table?
Well, Leslie brought one.
Yes, for sure.
That's
brought
off
multiple.
She brought multiple, right? Mm-hmm. But some of them were, extreme. Some of them did say fire him. I ain't saying fire him. I've been saying for the last 2 years. I tell you that I don't like that. I done told you that 100 times. Watching this guy, he cost them games last year with the same model. But he the coach, so he can make that decision and live with it. But sometimes championship mindset is different. I've seen messages about the choking, the players, right? The players dropped the ball. We heard that loud and clear this morning in the office, right? Mm-hmm. Right? The players, they choked. The players dropped the ball. You fumbled the ball in your end zone, right? All those things occurred after you don't take that field goal. And that was my point.
So what was
And then hold on, one more thing. Then you got these little league coaches and these other coaches talking about that people don't know what they talking about. You got somebody talking about you're not successful because if you question the coach, you just not successful and you ain't been successful in life. Like all of that is just overboard, right? Championship sports really requires a sound, steady hand. And that is clear across the board. Every championship, you watch these guys win championships, them guys is steady. It's not, it's not a real science, and you have to be in tune in that process. But go ahead.
Oh, well, I just wanted to kind of draw out, kind of get a feel for what's being said out there, because it seems like it's only maybe 5 comments either way.
Yeah, it is. So, majority of them is around, not taking the field goal. Then you got some extremes, right? Mm-hmm. Where they call players bombs and he a bomb, and you got those types of things, with the same players who got you there, and all of a sudden they drop the ball. You got some that there's some conversation. The defensive coordinator was terrible. People talking about they missed 55 tackles. Like all of a sudden, people doing math on tackles, right? And these guys again were put in a position that they didn't necessarily need to be in.
Okay. So I'm kind of glad that we got that part of this conversation out. And so it gives us room and flexibility to kind of look at it. How do we move forward from here? Like, we have to make sure that we're having that conversation about vision, right? About support, about care, about transformation. Like, we have all the room in the world for those things to happen on our path in the future. And I think because it has affected the city in such a profound way, that it's gotten people up. I want to say off the sidelines, but not necessarily in that way. But it's got people motivated. It got people connected. It got people talking to each other. When you see another Lions fan on the street, you're more likely to say hello. Mm-hmm. You might go Lions. Like you saw a level of camaraderie. I have saw a level of camaraderie that I can't say I've seen in recent history.
Well, that's what sports does. The sports bring people together.
It has the potential.
It has the potential to bring people together, right? In this case, Michigan needed the Lions, right? Michigan needed the Lions. Mm-hmm. The Lions had an influence on the Red Wings. The Red Wings are a lot tougher. They playing a lot tougher. They're yelling and screaming grit, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the term, grit.
Grit, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So people are going the extra mile because they see what it looks like in the city. it was already blossoming and changing. So the momentum is not going to go away. We are in the middle of some great momentum. As a city, as a state, as a people, the issue is going to be, right, coming down through this process. How do we get out of the isms, right? Because Michigan still remains one of the most racial impacted states in America, right? So how do we get out of the isms, and how does this team assist in us getting out of the isms, right? And I just gotta say this because I think it's important that we understand. Across the aisle is a person that we have to really get to know, and we got to remove that judgment piece and really open ourselves up to help one another, and that's the difficult part, because behind all the sports and the games and things like that is these biased rooms and biased situations. So I'm praying that, for me, I want to see it impact the entire state around the results around families and supporting one another instead of judging and condemning and playing the racial game and the MAGA versus the blue, the liberal versus all. I'm tired of that. Right.
And so, I mean, there are a couple of things. So, EMIY Apparel, the win as one Detroit, like to win as one, not just relevant to sports, but how we come together as family, how we come together as people. And I think once you have a foundation of a common ground, I think the Lions helped us to get to another level or a new outlook of a common ground. We can come together around our sports team. And it did not matter what color, it did not matter what gender, it did not matter what orientation, it did not matter what age. There were babies with little onesies with Lions gear on and little drawings on their faces.
Yeah.
There were people who painted their face two colors, right?
Well, yeah, and so
gray and blue.
And so the team represents that, right? You got white head coach, black defense coordinator. You got running backs. You got this team was very diverse, and they're loyal to each other.
Right.
That was the most impressive thing about this team.
Yes.
From Brad all the way down to I'm talking about the loyalty where they even traded the running back to Philadelphia because it was his home. That is incredible leadership, right? Well, we'll take a 4th round pick because he needs to go home. One of the coaches, his mom was sick. They let him take a job. They let him go. They didn't force the contract. They let him out of the contract, let him go be with the Carolina Panthers so he can take care of his mom. He was closer home to his mom. This Lions organization, team, process is what we all needed. Now, if we can duplicate them, right, and get out of the space of the other garbage, this would help lead us and so the environment would be healthy. But it's crazy, but that's how it should be. Right? We watched America go at Kansas City for the offensive coordinator just so he go take a job to help somebody else, and now he out of job. Like, come on. Caller, you on the air.
Hey, how you doing, my brother? This is Seth Wilson.
What's happening with yourself, Fred Wilson?
I'm good. I was watching this show, and I did type in, but people had a chance to get a glimpse of what hope looks like again.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And when I think about the Lions journey, it's almost like how we should be in our relationships and how we relate in our community and with one another.
Yes, sir.
For a second, they forgot about all the past failures.
Yeah.
They forgot about all the past failures, and they had hope in this team once again because they came together.
Yeah.
And I did watch the news, and it was Caucasians, African Americans down there laughing, bonding bonding together for that one cause.
Yes.
So we can do that in our community. We can
do
forget
it.
about all our past failures, about what happened in the city, what happened with mismanaging money, what happened in our community, and have that hope again like they did in the Lions.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I was saying, Fred, that, you know, I was just giving some examples, right? You know, you trade my man to Philadelphia so he can go home. He at home, right? So Swift, who was a Lions running back, because you drafted a Lions running back, you trade him to Philadelphia. He had one of his best years, right? As a running back at home. You send home the running backs coach to go take care of his mom, so you let him out of contract, and he catches on with Carolina, right? So you got, you know, Brad Holmes, who is from this is an incredible mixture, right? And we all jokes aside, this is one of the best examples in the NFL to me of what it should look like across the board. Now, you see a lot of teams, but you didn't hear teams shipping players home. That's the first time I ever heard somebody allowing somebody to go home. Right? I'm going to trade you to your home team. When they interviewed that boy, that was his dream, was to play for Philadelphia. The Lions made that happen.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So
yes.
that whole mixture of them, and they have to learn, because they lost together, they have to learn some things. But the one thing that is clear about this team is that loyalty and accountability is such an impressive part of who they are.
Yes, and I agree with everything you're saying, and I have been saying that accountability for the last month. So I am using the Lions as an example on how we can be in our everyday life.
Yes, blessings. Yes.
That's right.
That part right there. Even at my job, you should have seen people coming together just because of the Lions. People who usually don't even speak to one another. You know, and they was having conversation at the break table. Even if it's just about that one mutual thing that everybody had hope with. And I'm not downplaying having faith in anything in the Lions, but it's something about that hope. You get what I'm saying? That's just as powerful, you know. So I've seen that in the city. And I've seen people come to work today a little disappointed, but you know what they said? We still have next year. We're going to do it again.
We're going to do it again. He got no choice. He got to come back strong.
Yeah.
You got to come back stronger. You young. You one of the younger teams. You got this experience now. At the start of the game, you only having 7 players. And like my man said, now you got 60. You got 60 players who went through this experience. Now, how many of them going to stay? How many of them going to be retained? But understand this. If you a free agent out there and you hot, the Lions is on your radar.
Just on your radar.
He on your radar. So I'm like, they not playing, you know. If you for whatever they need in this draft, I cannot. Man, listen, Brad Holmes has done something with this draft. Like, you've had 3 consecutive successful drafts. 3 consecutive successful drafts, and every year you got better. They gonna have to. It's on. You know what I mean? And then it's on. They say the offensive coordinator probably is getting ready to get the Washington job, which, again, good luck. You know what I mean? You know.
Hey, guess what, Cal? They're gonna have to spend some money now.
Yeah, but they got it. They under the cap. They got it. Yeah, they got it.
Yeah,
That's why them ticket prices went up too. So y'all, they pulled that ticket pistol out and started robbing at the start of the season. But it's going down.
Wow.
And I love you guys. So I'm usually a little bit busy, but I said I was going to make a point to slow down and watch it. So keep up all the good work. And for anybody that's listening, and I have to say this, like the Lions came into this, everybody viewed them as an underdog, right?
Right.
But it was just that hope, that energy, and that vibe to want to win. We can all do that in life. I don't care. We all got our past, and I've had my failures too, right?
Right.
But we don't have to stay there. The Lions didn't stay there.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They did not stay there. They did not stay in their failures.
That's right.
And look how far they came, right? So this was, to me, this wasn't even a loss. This was a lesson.
Yes.
That's all it was.
Yeah, you got.
Yes.
And,
yes,
and
a
every
lesson.
loss is a lesson. You know what I mean? And that's that's real, right? And
That's
but you
real.
again, we can have a conversation. Everybody making these conversations personal, right? It's not personal, right? But it's sports. There's a difference. I'm not about to fight you over a sports argument, like
Not at all.
not at all. You know what I mean? I'm not about to talk bad about a sports argument. It's just a sports discussion. We disagree. You know, that's what me and my man left for that. He said, "Man, we just gonna disagree today." I said, "Yeah." He said, "But you got to tell me." You know, he want to be. You got to tell me. You got to tell me. You can't say they didn't choke. I say only after. But I'll give you that they choked. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But it's beautiful, man. Thanks for calling, Fred. I appreciate you, man.
Okay. All right. Thanks for
Take care,
thanks
sir.
for receiving the phone call.
Yes, sir.
You guys continue to have an amazing show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I ain't against them, right? I just got an opinion, but I ain't against them, right?
Now,
But
I do want to present an idea before we close today.
that's not a problem.
I wanted to really investigate, and we'll talk about this on a future show, but about there seems to be a relationship between sports, and I'm going to just call it professional sports, and video game sports. Some of our young people seem to think if you are able to do something in a video game, that you're automatically able to go to the court and do the same thing that you do on the video game. I just want to shift it just a little bit, just a
That's
bit
not
of that
possible.
conversation. But can you talk to that? Can you speak to that, even as a coach? Can you speak to
It's
that?
cognitive dissonance, right? Video games has a way of exacerbating your body and making you believe that you are doing this, right? It energizes your body the same way. It pulls out your energy. You in it. You're showing those things. But when you come to the real sport, you see now more. I was watching a basketball game the other day, and I'm making it simple. We played so much basketball and accepted this behavior that teams are not our kids are not even physical. And then you scroll over to, like, Houston was playing the other day. Houston, the college basketball team, they like number 3 or 4 or something in the nation. They got muscle everywhere. But some of these teams don't even understand that. I've watched high school teams. The kids, they don't have no muscle.
Oh yeah.
Right? And
Yes.
so in the preparation of things, psychologically, our society thinks that because I can play this video game
In the virtual world.
in the virtual world, that I can come out here and these kids discover, as you've seen in our program, you can't even make a layup. Like, you've not been taught properly. Our kids we can't do push-ups. We are in a space for, they said the testosterone level for males is as low as it's ever been in the history of mankind right now.
Wow.
Right? Video games is one of the biggest contributors. You can argue with your mama. You can argue with your daddy. I don't care who you argue with. It's right there. I don't need to even see the statistic. I see it in the kid. So when the kids come through and a kid can't do a simple push-up or kids learning how to run. That's the number one thing we did was run and hop a gate. But that was then. Today, things is on the screen for a reason. And we have advanced in the technology, but we've reduced in human capacity. We are destroying, right? And so that's a make-believe concept. To think that you can go from the video game, you can put 8 hours on the video game and 1 hour on the court. and you the next Michael Jordan.
Right.
Right? No, that's not the case. That's not the case. And then a lot of people, again, a lot of these kids that's even in the sport is not getting proper rest. So their body's not growing because they didn't play the 100 games. You didn't play the 100 games to impress somebody. You have not had any rest. You burnt out, and ain't no college is looking at you. And you going, why my kid not getting a look? Well, because he wasn't developed. We still have to develop our children. Mm-hmm. It is just absolutely paramount, which is why you see girls' sports increasing and boys' sports decreasing. Right?
That's an interesting
We are
perspective.
developing our girls and underdeveloping our boys. You can argue with your mama. I'm telling you for a fact, we've been watching it. Everybody's sitting back. You can say what you want to say. You have your son in a retreated position, and he doesn't. You don't want your son to go through nothing. Oh, that's hard. He ain't got to put up with that. And you walking him away, he quitting, but he can't go through nothing. But your daughter, she can go through everything. You're going to be all right. Girl, get up. So on, so on, so on. So this is why we have to do the work. We have to do more of it. I am not satisfied where we are in this work game, but I most definitely will say this. The virtual world is very harmful to testosterone. Now, you deal with it the way you want to.
Well, and I just do want to mention that this is our last week of open enrollment for EMIY, our mentoring program. Our 14-week spring program ends. We close on Monday. So this Sunday and or this Monday is the last time to register for our program. So if you have a young man, a boy, 8 to 24, and you know that he needs to get up and get out and get moving to help him to develop not only his cognitive development, not only his physical development, not only his mental development, but to get him in the hands of responsible, healthy men who can mentor him. Our mothers and grandmothers out there, our aunties, our godmothers, if you have that son, then God's son, and he doesn't have enough men surrounding him, if he's getting in trouble, if he has an attitude, if he doesn't want to listen to what's being told, if he's totally engaged and engrossed in a virtual world, he needs to have structure. And this is the last date. We're approaching our last dates for enrollment. You can enroll on our website or walk in the door and bring them ready to work. That means gym shoes, shorts, t-shirt. Bring them in ready to work in our program this Sunday. You can reach out to us at 313-638-3649. That's EMIY. 638 EMIY. So 638-3649. You can call us. Go to our website at www.emmyworld.com. Look under initiatives for mentoring. Sign up today. Do not delay. If you want to see your son finish the school year strong this year, if you want him to thrive in sports this year, bring him to a space where he can be cultivated and his character can be developed. His character can be developed. And you can ask any coach, one of the top priorities for them is not just their talent, but their character. They can have all the talent in the world and no character and be of no use to a team or to your family. So we have to make sure that we are making the concerted effort to make sure we put our boys in good hands. So I'm sorry, I needed to make sure we had that opportunity to share.
That's fine. Tell them where they can get you at.
You can reach me at yourinspiredjourney.com. That's yourinspiredjourney.com. We're also calling out mothers and grandmothers who really want to do something and see some change in the world. Reach out to our Ready Women Collective. Let's go.
So, thank you. So, I'll say this, right? And this is by no means. If you are a mentor, a youth basketball coach, little league, football coach, and everything, you got to have character, right? You got to have standards. There are some of you out there who prey on these mothers. Take advantage just to get their sons. Tell them lies. Sleeping with them. You got to stop that. We cannot have men breaking the boy's heart twice. In our mentoring program, there's no fraternizing. We don't do that. We literally vet our volunteers as our mentors, that they understand there is no fraternizing. We even tell the parents there's no fraternizing. It's important for us to have a standard in how we carry ourselves. Getting high in front of the kids, getting blowed and just sitting around and thinking that that's supposed to help the kid, that's poor character. That's not good for the kid. The kid has got to be able to go somewhere where these things are not happening. Because if they leave the home where that is going on and then they come to the field where that's going on, that's a problem, right? We just talked about how important team sacrifice and unity that the Lions has brought to this area, how important that is. We just talked about the loyalty that they had to one another, the team, the coach. I remember the coach stepping up for the defensive coordinator and the team stepping up and the owner stepping up for the coach and got you here, got you to this place. Diversity amongst that whole staff, right? Unity within the stadium. This must be the standard for every little league, small youth. If you're going to volunteer, don't volunteer where you getting high and just to come to the field and run your PlayStation plays. Get your butt to a coach's clinic. Get some more information, because it's so important that you're handling these young people. It's important how you carry yourself in handling these young people. With that being said, my name is Kelvin Mann. Go Lions. Good luck next year. And I truly appreciate you listening in. This was fun. You can reach me at calvintman.com. Shout out to mentor.org for looking out. They just sent another email. And I just want to make sure that you understand that we are doing nothing but continuously to escalate up toward the restoration of family. You guys have an awesome week. See you next Monday. Our guest will be Joseph Williams, the architect. I call him Papa, Dada. He's the man when it comes to return to citizen, and we're going to have him in next week. God bless you and encourage me. I'm young. Peace. every athlete, every person, every human being has an opportunity. Some opportunities don't come when you want them. But if you're prepared, good opportunities can happen. Always be ready, because you never know when your number is going to get called. EMIY Apparel. Encourage me. I'm young.